Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off to give the highest honor, glory, and all praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and do well and taught me the truth out of the Bible, and amongst other things, peace and salutations to the elect scattered to all four corners of the earth, my fellow laborers who push in this work and word in truth and sincerity all across the globe. Shalom, this is your brother Talmayat from the JMS Holland branch, coming back at you with another lesson to the spirit and power of Yahawashi, and I hope it is edifying and straight to the point. Khan, yeah, this is going to be a quick lesson. I was watching this and I was like, hey, man, we really need Yahawashi, man. Like the apostles are saying, man, and the elders and the bishops, like, hey, we hope that this is the last Pesach, man. Because Esau, man, the things that he's doing, man, is crazy, man. You see? So, and that's why the inward thoughts is the inward part is very deep, man. You see? Matter of fact, let me get this is the book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 6. They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. So you see here on the screen, man, this is how they search everything out, man. Their mind, because the Hebrew word heart is lap. Their mind is goes in everywhere, man, on the left hand side, man. You see? And you see here, human language gene inserted into mice led to some bizarre effects. So this is what this is all about, man. That's why we need Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because he tried to be the creator himself, That's why he tried to really try to sit on the chair of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. That is what he's doing, man. You see? So that's why we need Yahweh. We need Yahweh Shai, man, to come save us, because these devils, man, they got things ready, man, and with the whole with the whole artificial intelligence and everything that they are cooking up, it is madness, man. So we're gonna need saving, man, from this devil, man, because the things that he's doing is crazy. So let me play it with no further ado. Human language gene inserted into mice led to some bizarre effects.
A wonderful person, this is Anton, and today we're going to discuss a somewhat intriguing and somewhat unusual experiment. An experiment involving mice that were genetically modified to have one single gene to be exactly the same as the one inside humans. And this produced results scientists are still trying to understand. And here, this gene that generates a protein known as NOVA1 may potentially explain why humans can communicate the way we communicate, and might have created our ability to produce complex ideas and to verbalize a lot of our thoughts. And so let's talk about this somewhat unusual but somewhat exciting experiment in a little bit more detail and talk about some of the potential ramifications. Now, as always, you can find the study itself in the description below, and here the study by Yoko Tajima basically focused on a somewhat unknown protein known as NOVA1. It's a protein that binds to RNA molecules encoded by the NOVA1 gene, and in essence, sort of looks like this. And though like many other genes and many other proteins, it seems to be responsible for a lot of different functions, inside the brain it seems to be responsible for neural development. As a matter of fact, all of the previous studies about this gene were mostly studying this gene because it seems to be associated with a lot of different brain disorders, specifically when it has some kind of a problem. But by itself, this NOVA1 gene is also known as master gene regulator. You can essentially think of it as a kind of a master switch, and so any problem with the NOVA gene results in some serious issues. You can actually learn about this gene and its functions from one of the studies from 2014 that you can find in the description. But surprisingly, it does seem to affect at least 90% of all human genes in some way or another. But most of the interest in the last few years was really in regards to its effects on the brain, because scientists discovered that when it creates this NOVA1 protein, this can then rearrange sections of RNA inside neurons, making them form in a very different way, making them create certain structures and develop in certain ways.
If you're traveling to be surrounded by nature,
Horrible.
Here's another study from just 2 years ago that essentially discovers that it seems to regulate very specific activity inside hypothalamus, with any change to this protein affecting our brain and hypothalamus in somewhat serious ways. And so the overall conclusion from many of these studies is basically that this unusual gene changes how our brain cells seem to synthesize proteins, and thus changes how our neurons develop. And one of the main conclusions here is that it seems to dramatically increase molecular diversity inside neurons. And naturally, because this gene is so important, it does not just exist in humans. As a matter of fact, it looks like most mammals, or possibly even all mammals, seem to contain NOVA1 inside their genes. And obviously, because this is a master gene, this should not come as a surprise. It would explain why so many mammals develop in very similar ways and even have somewhat similar brain structures. Except that there's a very small side note here. Of all of the mammals in nature, it looks like human NOVA1 gene has one tiny difference. It literally has a single amino acid that's different in human version compared to other mammals. Here, inside the position 197, the isoleucine amino acid has now been changed to valine, which though might not be a big deal, completely changes the protein in humans compared to other mammals, at least in terms of its structure. And because of this bizarre difference, for many years now, some researchers speculated that maybe this is actually something that makes us very different, and specifically, maybe this is something that gave us speech. So for the past few years, NOVA1 has actually been these.
So we need saving, man. You see what this devil is cooking up, man? And especially you see with the animals, man. The animals are in the whole earth is in trouble because of Esau, man. You see? The Dr. Frankenstein, man. Because that is really what he is, man. This is the things that he's doing, man. So that's why we need Yahawashi, man. We need saving from this devil, man. Because if it is up to him, man, no flesh is gonna be safe, man. You see? So let me get bear with me. Let me get a scripture real quick. Salakia. Khan, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 4. The earth mourned and faded away. The world languished and faded away. The hardy people of the earth do languish. Yeah, man. So you see, man, the whole earth is faded away, man. Everything is tainted, is poisoned with these devils in rulership, man. So that's why we witnessing what is happening, man. You see? And verse 5, the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. And that is what they did, man. They broken the everlasting covenant, man. You see? And that is also goes into, you have to keep peace with all the animals, man. You have to keep peace with the whole earth, man. Be in sync with the earth, man. You see, so you don't harm the earth. You know, don't do tests on mice, on rats, on apes, monkeys. That is crazy, man. And Esau does all these things, man. You see. Because he's Dr. Frankenstein, you see? And he tried to find the God gene and tries to do everything, man. You see? So these devils have to go, man. They has to go, man. They have to go, Salakia. So this is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 22. For we know that the whole creation and groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. You see? So you see it, man. The whole creation is mourning, man. They are groaning, moaning, you know, because of these devils in rulership, man. You see, they're doing tests on animals, you know, the polluting the whole atmosphere, the polluting the food. They're doing all things wrong, man. You see, these devils. That's why they have to go, man. You know, that's why the Lord is going to cleanse the earth with brimstone, man. You know. It's gonna be that incense, man. That incense, man. That divine incense to burn and cleanse the whole earth of these devils, man. You see, because these things are gonna happen, man. You know, and we need salvation, man, from Yahawashi, man. You see, because if it is up to these devils, this is going to start. What's going to happen, man? You know, and that's why you see the title also, human language gene inserted into minds led to bizarre effects. Yeah, because it is bizarre world, man. You're creating Frankenstein animals, man. Matter of fact, let me get this scripture also real quick. You know, but because you ain't Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi, man. You're trying to be, but you ain't the Lord, man. So this is the book of Job, chapter 13 and verse 4, and it reads, "But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value." Yeah, and this has no value what you are doing, man. Creating Frankenstein animals, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fail, man. It doesn't do nothing, man. You cannot do that, man. You see? So that's why we need Yahawashi Yahawashi, man, to save us from these devils, man, because, and the animals need Yahawashi Yahawashi too, man. You see? So, let me play it further, man. Slovakia, for that.
Language gene contender because only humans seem to have this specific form. But this was somewhat debatable because previously, in a lot of different studies, a slightly different gene was a better contender. A gene we see right here known as FOXP2, or forehead box protein P2. A gene expressed inside the brain, the heart, the lungs, and the digestive system that also exists in a lot of different vertebrates. And intriguingly, one of the experiments back in the days revealed that when this gene is introduced into mice, they actually start to speak differently, or technically squeak differently. This was reported back in 2009, and here the human version of this gene made the mice produce slightly different sounds. Although here it also produced some additional bizarre behaviors. For example, the mice were not as curious anymore and did not feel as much joy because for some reason their brain was not producing as much dopamine. Nevertheless, this experiment and the study was actually exciting just because this was achieved and because it was now possible to test other genes just to see if we can discover this language gene and communication gene that in essence makes us human. Although when it comes to this FOXP2 gene, based on the analysis of Neanderthals and Denisovans, or essentially our cousins from back in the days, they also seem to have this gene as well.
And that is Esau's, because Esau is the Neanderthal. The Israelites are no Neanderthals, and all that pseudoscience for that's why we call them that's why they are physicians of no value, because this is lies about the world is 100,000 year old and all that madness. That is all goes is pseudoscience, man. These lying wonders that they have, man. Matter of fact, let me get that. That's why the Lord has to come, man, because these devils are crazy. Like Elder Yashawamba always says, man. True, these devils are crazy, man. And if it is up to them, they're gonna mess us up, man. Bear with me. I have a call. Wait, bear with Salaki. I had a call. So let me go to Second Thessalonians chapter and chapter 2. Let me see. This is Second Thessalonians chapter 2, and let me go straight to the point for time's sake, because I was here waiting for the brothers, because we have the Pesach in about a few hours. I was waiting for the brothers. So let me see. Yeah, let me start with verse 8. And then shall the wicked be revealed, and the wicked with the capital W is Esau Edom, the so-called white man, be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. You see? And that is the Lord, man. When he's going to come, he's going to destroy him, man. That is what is going to happen. And the bright with the spirit of his mouth, this the prophets, man, because we are proclaiming the downfall of these devils, man. So we are the one that is doing that, man. You see? So even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. And these are not the workings of Satan's and lying wonders that this devil is performing? You see? Experimenting with the human language gene to insert it in a mice. Is that not a lying wonder? And let me look up that word lying wonder. We already did it, but let me look it up. So the word lying wonder, we did it a few times. Lying goes in pseudos. You see, a lie, conscious and intentional falsehood. You see, in a broad sense, whatever is not what it seems to be, of perverse, imperious, deceitful precepts. You see, deceitful precepts, and these are all deceitful precepts, man. These are intentional falsehoods. What this devil is creating and performing, man. You see. So this is what they are doing, man. That's why the Lord is gonna destroy these devils, man. You see, So let me also go to this scripture. That's why we have to stay away of these things, because they are promoted like it is something good, Let me see. No, I have to go to. Yeah, this is First Timothy chapter 6 and verse 20. And it reads, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of silence so called. And this is vain babbling, man. Opposition of science so called, man. You see? And we ain't dealing with that, man. We ain't dealing with that, man. You see? Council, like the brothers are coming, so I had to pause for a moment. But yeah, man, I'm almost finished, But this is what they're doing, man. This is that's why we have to stay away from, these famed babblings, man. Science so called, because this is science so called. This got nothing to do with Yahawashi Yahawashi, man. You see, and that's why Isa has to go. Has to go, man. You see, because the whole creation is groaning because these devils are in rulership, man. We need Yahawashi Yahawashi, man, real quick too, man. That's why we hope, so like Yahweh Tasa, Lord willing, that this is the last Pesach, man. And that Yahweh Shem Yashai, is coming for these devils, man. So yeah, let me play a little bit of this video, and I have a last scripture, then I'm gonna close out.
Why that maybe Neanderthals could also speak like humans. And one of the reasons scientists actually thought that FOXP2 was a language gene was because of the disorders associated with the problems inside this gene. Anyone that has a mutation in this gene very often has a lot of speech defects and is unable to move their lips and their mouth in order to produce any speech. Likewise, compared to other mammals, the human FOXP2 gene is just a little bit different, but is exactly the same as the one inside Neanderthals. And so this was thought to be the origin of human language. But naturally, this was just the beginning, and obviously scientists wanted to keep looking just to see if we can find other contenders or discover something else.
Wow, what you're seeing right now is an ultra-realistic AI robotic dog, crafted by master engineers in Germany.
And so 16 years later, we get a new study. A very similar experiment, but an even more exciting discovery. Because in this case, this Nova1 gene is definitely unique to humans. Neanderthals and Denisovans did not have the same gene either, and it seems to be one of the few genes that pretty much all humans contain. Now here I'm saying almost, because there is a very bizarre discovery. Researchers were able to collect anonymous DNA sequences from approximately 650,000 humans and discover this gene in almost everybody except for 6 people. Now, because these were anonymous, we have no idea who they are, but for some reason, out of 650,000 people, 6 contained a different variant. Obviously, there's no explanation why and why they have this mutation, but it would be interesting to find out if this produced any kind of a problem with their speech. But based on the genetic analysis, we know that this gene is relatively new in terms of evolutionary times. Since Neanderthals and Denisovans did not have this gene, it must have evolved after the species split. And based on a thorough genetic analysis, scientists believe that it must have formed only a few 100,000 years ago, possibly even less. And so because of the novelty of this gene, it was obviously somewhat intriguing to discover what effect this has on humans and what effect it might have on these mice. And that's because mice, despite containing a similar gene, do not contain the same gene. This is really uniquely human. And to test this, scientists created genetic mutations that made these genes exactly the same as human genes, and then conducted 2 separate experiments, one involving pups and one involving grown-up mice. And even as pups, these mice were already doing something different. Compared to a regular pup, these genetically modified pups were producing frequencies that were much, much higher. Basically, ultrasonic squeaks, but in much higher frequencies than usual. And for some unknown reasons, despite a lot of screaming, their moms seem to ignore them. Normally, when pups produce ultrasound squeaks, their moms come right away. But here, even at young age, these pups were already producing different sounds and thus communicating a little bit differently. But a much more intriguing discovery came from the mice that were already older. So basically, once these pups grew up and became older, they then went on their first date, or technically had their first courting experience. And surprisingly here, during courtship, these genetically modified mice were producing calls that that were very different from a regular mouse. And though the frequency was exactly the same, the actual amount of squeaks was extremely different and much more complex. In other words, they were actually making sounds that were way more complex in terms of syllables, with the overall communication being longer and more diverse. In other words, I guess in human terms, their pickup lines were very elaborate.
Oh, no, go! I've scared you. I've said too much. I'm hopeless and awkward and desperate for love.
And this is a really, really bizarre discovery. It really confirms that the mutation in this NOVA1 gene is potentially responsible for our ability to communicate with so much complexity and our ability to express so many complex thoughts in so many different ways. And because here this gene could also be tracked inside the brain of the mouse, it definitively confirmed dramatic changes in a lot of different sections, especially the ones responsible for communication. And this was a direct and definitive confirmation that NOVA1 protein seems to dramatically change vocalization patterns and may indeed be the human language gene, a human-specific gene that literally built our culture. And these bizarre vocalization patterns that were detected in these mice, though preliminary, still seems to suggest that even in these mice, the communication became way more complex and much more elaborate. But unfortunately, it seems to have failed to impress other mice. In other words, just having this one mutation would obviously not suddenly turn them human. And since the brain analysis confirms that there's a change in the vocal behavior area, right now there's little to doubt that NOVA1 was indeed responsible. But in humans, it obviously does so many other things. For example, we know that it also affects learning. And problems with NOVA1 have been correlated with various learning disabilities. And that's on top of approximately 90 other things it seems to be responsible for. And so basically here, it might not be just a language gene.
So yeah, man, you hear it. I had to forward it because or else it's gonna take too long. But this is that witchcraft that Esau is performing constantly, man, on the people, man. You see, on animals, on people, and that's why he tried to, edit your gene too, man. You see, transhumanism and all that madness, man. So we need saving from Yahawashi. You see. But let me close it out with this, because this is the man of sin, man. You see, that's also in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, what you was reading. He's the man of sin. You see, the son of perdition, man. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 47 and let me start with verse 8. Therefore, hear now this, thou art given to pleasures that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. And that goes really also in America, aka Babylon the Great. You see, but they say there is no one beside them, because these scientists, they are very important, because everything is that's why they say you have to trust the science, because that is their witchcraft, man. That's why you have to trust in their warlocks, man, and their witches, and they perform and they bring it to you like it is something normal, man. But it is against the Lord, man. It is against Yahawashi. That's why the Lord said, "Don't suffer a witch to live," man. We are not given to divinations and conjuring of spirits and all these things, man. The Lord is against it. If somebody in Israel is doing these things, in the Lord said you have to put them away, man. You need to be put to death. You see, and this is also a form of their witchcraft, man. But these two and Salakia, and like I said, that the loss of children goes really for America, because they are not touched yet, man. They are they sit really high upon the horse. That's why wickedness is coming from aka Babylon, mystery Babylon, aka America, man. You see. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in the perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and the great abundance of thine enchantments. And they constantly are pulling down enchantments via media, to television, to the movies, to everything, man. Propaganda, spells. This is what they're doing, man. You see? And the multitude of their sorceries. All these things that you see here, man, on the screen, man. That's why the Lord is coming and going to destroy these devils, man. You see? And the destruction is going to come in one day, in a moment that they ain't going to expect, man. The Lord is coming as a thief in the night, man. And then they're going to have loss of children and widowhood. And America already feels the squeeze, man. People are suffering and crying, Verse 10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Yes, trust the science. That is their wickedness, the sorcery. Trust in the witchcraft, trust in their enchantments, you see. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. And that is really what these devils are thinking, that they are the one, sitting on the throne, and that, they are above Yahawashi, man. You see? That is what is in his mind, man. You see? Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. And that is what is going to happen, man. The Lord said America is going to be destroyed in 1 hour, man, by 200 million missiles, man. You see? Obliterated, man. You see? That is what is going to happen, man. You see? Destruction is coming for all these warlocks and wizards, you know. That's why the Lord said in verse 12, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so thou mayest prevail. You see? So all the charms, the spells that they are putting upon the people, and it has worked. They worked great on the people, man. So like, yeah, they did a great thing, man. Through television, man. You see. Even the moon landing, everybody was in awe because the television was that was just created. So people went to each other's houses, and that was the man, these lying wonders that he show you, because it is lying wonders, because he really didn't go over there, man. You see, because these are all hoax. You see. And it is all spells, man. Esau is a liar. He makes the truth with a lie, because if you need to tell a lie, you have to know the truth, man. You see. And you have profit a long time of these of your sorcery and your witchcraft, man. You see, but it is down. The Lord said, stand down, man. It is now done, man. You see, these things that you're doing, man, the adding human gene in a mice, that is wickedness, man. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these days that shall come upon thee. Yeah, man, because your days are numbered, man. You see, the video that you was playing, that the elders did the video also, the bishops, I think the apostles too, about the outcome, man. You see, which you was playing with CERN, man. You see. And the outcome is still that you are going to be destroyed, man. You see? That is your outcome, man. You ain't gonna make it, man. It is done. You are done. It's like, yeah, you are done for it, man, Esau Edom. This is your last hooray, man. So now, man, the Lord ain't playing with you anymore, man. So the destruction and misery and all the hell is gonna come upon you, man. You see? So yeah, man, this was a quick video. I was not quick, but this was a quick video to show you, like, hey, we need saving from Yahawashi, man. But it is gonna come, man. We hope that this is the last Pesach. And yeah, man, and also another thing, Esau, he tried to find these things, because the Lord said when Esau can figure all these things out, he gonna do away with the Israelites. Yeah, man, if you hear this video, see this video, you can post that scripture, but yeah, man, I'm going to close out. So with that, I want to give the highest honor, glory, and all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, Shalom.